Welcome all of you to the SGVU Industrial Connect program organized by School of Applied Sciences, Suresh Gandhihar University, Jaipur. In today's pandemic scenario, where everyone is continuously working on bringing back the pace of work and life on track, the education, research, and all the members of fraternity, whether teachers, scientists, or industrial persons, they were continuously working, learning, and grooming to make a difference in the society. And adding in another glitter to this online learning and sharing knowledge activity is the organization's SGBU Industrial Connect program. During online lectures of industrial experts covering industrial practices and all the functional domains will be covered to continue the scientific as well as industrial interaction and exchange of knowledge. With these words, I would like to welcome our industrial expert for today's webinar, Dr. Shilpa Varekar ma'am. It's a proud privilege that we have you along with us today. Thank you so much, ma'am, for accepting the invitation.
Yeah, thank you.
Now I would like, thank you, ma'am. I would like to request Professor Gaurav Sharma, sir, Principal School of Applied Sciences and Coordinator Biotech Business Incubator, supported by PhD Rajasthan, to welcome our guest. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Neha ma'am. Good morning to one and all. First of all, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Shilpa Varekar ma'am for accepting the invitation of our SGVU Industrial Connect program. Ma'am, kindly accept my warm regards and humble welcome to the webinar.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I'll be
Thank you.
happy. Yeah.
In the current pandemic times, we at School of Applied Sciences, Suresh Gandhihar University, are continuously working to maintain the continuity of knowledge sharing to the students and scientific community. With this vision, we have initiated the SGVU Industrial Connect program so as to bridge the gap between the academia and industry. In this context, today we have Dr. Shilpa Varekar with us. Dr. Shilpa has completed her PhD in microbiology from Jivaji University, India. She is an industrial microbiologist with 19 years of experience. She was senior research scientist at Research Center of Piramal Enterprises Limited for 14 years. She was an assistant professor in Department of Microbiology at St. Xavier's Autonomous College, Mumbai for 2 years. She was also the head of in technical projects Pan India with Microcam Skiller Private Limited, Mumbai. She was actively engaged in the discovery of novel bioactive molecules, particularly from fungi in the areas of anti-cancer and anti-infective diseases. She was also actively involved in establishing the microbial culture collection and microbial extract library with Piramal Enterprises Limited. She has written more than 30 publications in reputed journals, more than 7 books, chapters, and she has 1 patent to her credit. She was awarded the Women Scientist Award at International Conference on Mycology and Plant Pathology Biotechnological Approaches at BHU in 2012. Currently, she is the head of Central Quality Assurance Laboratory of Parley Agro Private Limited and Mumbai. In today's webinar, Dr. Shilpa will be providing insights on aspects of shelf life evaluation of food commodities in food industry. Without taking much time, I once again welcome to Dr. Shilpa and request her to take this session ahead. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Gaurav. Thank you, Dr. Neha. Thanks the Gyan Vihar University for inviting me for this talk. So
Thank you.
without taking much time, we'll start. So I'll share my screen. Neha, how to share your PPT, by the way, in this?
Hello, Neha, ma'am.
Neha? Is it visible now, the PPT?
Not now, ma'am.
No, ma'am. Ma'am, you have to click on present now. There's a tab on left,
Just a minute.
on right side. Okay, ma'am.
Okay, just a minute. So I go to present now and I have to say your entire screen.
Ma'am, you can select a window if your PPT is open. In that case, you have to select a window. In that, your PPT
Just
will
a minute.
display.
So,
From there, you can select and
is it
click on
okay
share.
now? Can you see?
No,
Okay,
ma'am.
that's what. Just a minute. Huh? Because I use Zoom usually, no?
Okay, no issues, ma'am. Take your time.
Okay, okay, ma'am.
Entire screen or a window should I select? Because
Ma'am, as you wish. If you want to, yes, ma'am. You can select your entire screen also.
okay, so just let me know the entire screen. Okay, share. So is it visible now? The PPT?
Yes,
Shelf
ma'am.
life
Yes, ma'am.
evaluation of food
Right now
products.
it's
Okay.
visible.
Okay. Is it in the presentation mode? Yeah. Is it visible?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Is it
Yes,
in the
ma'am.
presentation mode?
Yes, ma'am. It is in presentation mode.
Okay. I'll start now.
Okay.
So good morning,
Okay.
everyone. So today I'm going to present on the shelf life evaluation of food products. See, being in the food industry now, shelf life plays a very important role. As you can see the very first figure, right? It will tell you that every product, it may be a packed food or it may be a raw food, any food has a shelf life. What do you mean by a shelf life? Shelf life is a very simple term that we will be covering. It is something when it is acceptable for you to eat, right? From a consumer point of view, something which is you will say, yes, this has the same texture, this has the same odor, this has the same color. So if it is maintains everything during that time, it's called as the shelf life of that product. So if you look at this picture, you can see this is an apple. Slowly and slowly there is a browning and slowly drying up. So the last part, if you see, it is not at all acceptable by the consumer. In my presentation, I'll be covering what is shelf life, why do we need a shelf life, and how to conduct different shelf life studies. Yeah. If you have any questions, please note it down. We'll cover at the end of the session. Yeah. So to begin with, what is the shelf life? The time under certain storage conditions that a food will tolerate without producing unacceptable. What are the three parameters? It is microbiological, chemical, or physical changes. So it means that any food under a specific storage conditions. Now, what do you mean by a specific storage conditions? It can be a frozen, it can be at ambient temperature. Okay, so these are the conditions where we usually store the food. Yeah. So under those conditions, the food will tolerate without any acceptable, unacceptable changes are there in the food. It can be microbiological, chemical, or physical changes. So what are the important attributes to all foods? It is applicable to raw materials. It is applicable to ingredients. It is applicable to manufactured products. These studies must be carried out only when food are correctly processed, packed and stored ready for purchase and consumptions. So in a food industry, before any product is launched, the product has to go a thorough shelf life studies under different abusing conditions. See, for example, you prepare a food at your home. We have a particular time, right? Say, for example, I'm cooking rice or I'm cooking dal. I know I have to consume it within 5 to 6 hours. After that, I do have to refrigerate it, yeah, or it will get spoiled. So, what is the shelf life of my food that we prepare at home? It can be 3 to 4 hours. What happens when the same thing goes to an industrial level? If you look at the packet, there is always a date written on it. It is the best before date or use by date. Yeah. Even in a packaged drinking water, you will find a date. It may be plain water, but still there is a date written on it. You have to consume it by what time? How do you get that date? How does the company find out what date is the best for this? So it is done by doing a thorough shelf life studies. Yeah. Shelf life studies, as I said, applicable to all raw materials. Ingredients, manufactured products. These are carried out only when foods are correctly processed. If there is some problem in your processing, your shelf life may not be correct. If the food is not packed properly, there may be some issues. If the food is not stored properly, you will not end up into a correct shelf life studies. Now the question is, why do I need to have a shelf life study? Why the company needs to spend so much on shelf life studies? Believe me, companies spend lakhs of rupees on doing a shelf life studies. Why? Because see, food is just not, I should say that food what was 10 years before and now, it's a very different thing. 10 years before, pharma was something where we have to be very critical, no? All parameters are very critical. But now even food quality and safety aspects are there. Consumer, there is a consumer awareness. Yeah, consumer is quite aware of the things, because of the social networking sites in those WhatsApp, Facebook and Twitters. A small thing happen in one corner of the world and everybody comes to know. For example, there is a problem in one of the, maybe for example, a McDonald's or a Burger King, and you come to know, okay, there was some problem. Why? Because of the social networking. So consumers, first very important point, you need to conduct a shelf life studies because of the safety of the end user. Every company has to maintain its quality. In food, two aspects are very important, food industry. First is the safety, second is the quality. Yeah, so you have to maintain the quality. You buy a chips packet, for example, Lay's chips packet, and you say it's not that crispy. Why? Because you have defined the Lay's chip should be crispy. Lay's chip should have this particular texture. Lay's chip should have that particular aroma. Yeah, but you say, yeah, it's not okay. Something is wrong. The product में oil का smell आ रहा है, किसका आ रहा है? That way. Third point, data in having an actual calculated shelf life and it's not just an assumption. Companies cannot give an assumption that, okay, the shelf life is just 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. No. They have to actually tell you that this is the shelf life where you have to use your product. After that, you cannot use your product. Product biasness. Why? Because one company will say, suppose there are two biscuit manufacturing companies. One will say, I'm a branded company, my shelf life is better than the other company. Biscuits are the same, packaging is the same. Just because one is branded, another is a non-branded, doesn't mean the shelf life will change. Yeah. So there should not be a product biasness. Product recalls. Yeah. Very important. I was telling you, like they now, because of the social networking, there are things which is happening in one corner of the world and there are recalls. It's a big loss to the organizations. So product recall should not be there. Products are withdrawn from the market because some microbiological issue was there, some quality issue was there. So it's a big commercial loss to the company as well as the reputation of the company, brand image. Every company has its big brand names. If you look at the big houses like Parley Agro, Hindustan Unilever, look at all these big houses, Procter and Gamble. So it's a brand image, it's a name. They cannot afford to, no, the image should not go down because of any of this reason. To avoid expensive litigations, people can put them in court and say, I had consumed this and there was a problem. So for all these things, we need to conduct a shelf life studies of food. Hope I'm audible. Hello?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible, ma'am.
Clear, no? No issues, no? Yeah.
No issue.
The next slide. When to conduct a shelf life study? Do I have to conduct a shelf life studies all the time? No, it's not. When do you need to conduct? When you have a new product in the market. What do you mean by a new product? When I'm designing everything new, maintaining the quality of my product. Yeah, I can have my internal shelf life studies. I don't have to give it to a external laboratory to do a shelf life study. Data in having an actual calculated shelf life and not an assumptions. See, every company calculates its shelf life. If you go to a beverage industry, if you go to a chips industry, if you go to this McDonald's and all that, even their bread, the patty, the sauces, everything has a shelf life. If you go to this even Starbucks, whatever they are serving you, the cakes, the pastries, they have a shelf life to it. They know they have to keep it on the shelf for 24 hours. After 24 hours, it will go in the dustbin. Why? Although the product, because they know this is the shelf life of my product, I cannot keep it on the shelf just because I have to give it to the consumer. Product bias. Okay. Okay. No. Yeah. Brand image to avoid expensive litigations. What are the different ways to determine shelf life? Now, very important for you, a shelf life for a normal consumer, a shelf life, he is not going to do any chemical or any microbiological test at his home. You buy a chips packet or you buy a juice drink from a market, you're not going to do any chemical study or a microbiological study. What is the first thing you're going to do? You're going to taste it. Yeah. You're going to smell it. You're going to feel the product how it is. Yeah. So what is that? That is called as the sensory. Any change in the food product which renders it unacceptable to your customer based on organoleptic attributes. What do you mean by organoleptic attributes? It's the color, taste, odor. For example, I go to a cake shop. I just, for example, I could say I was buying a cake which was having a very bright color. And one day, the cake person, he added less color to it and the cream. And you will say, yeah, this looks to be little stale. This looks to be juna lagta hai. Why? Because he has added less color, although it may not be that old. But because it is your, because you have correlated that color to be that dark, bright yellow color, you will say, ye na thoda juna dikhta hai. So what have you correlated to? You have correlated with yourself. Okay, this is the color which I want for that particular pastry or a cake. For example, you are taking Coca-Cola or you're taking any carbonated beverages. Sometimes we drink it and we say it's flat. I don't get that carbonation taste on my tongue. Why? Because I'm used to for that flavor, I'm used for that tingling sensation on my tongue. So these are all the unacceptable attributes that makes a consumer to tell you ki, yeah, this is not okay and this is okay. Next is accelerated studies. Based on physical, chemical, such changes such as moisture and rancidity. Now, what do you mean by accelerated? See, companies give you a shelf life of 1 year, 2 years, 6 months. But companies never have that much of time to sit and say, okay, I'm going to observe my product. In a 6 months time, a company can put maybe 5 products in market. But if it's going to wait for 6 months, they don't have time because the product may fail in the way itself. So they have come up with a new concept of accelerated studies, which we will see what it is. Microbiological testing, very important, safety of the food product. Every food, whatever you're taking, eating, should be microbiological safe. There should be no pathogens present in the food. Even if you have an aerobic plate count, there should be a limit. If you look at the FSSI, I hope all of you must be aware of the FSSI, the food standard of our country, the regulatory body that has given a particular standards for all the food products that we are using. And we have to agree to those standards, whatever the FSSI has given. Yeah. So
Hello. Hello.
जा ही नहीं सकता है पर गया तो what will happen? Hello.
Yes, ma'am. मैम योर वॉइस बीच में चली गई थी इसलिए मैं चेक कर रही हूँ आई प्लीज गो अहेड मैम There is some technical issue. Please hold on for a second. Shilpa ma'am will be joining in a moment. There is some technical glitch at her end.
All PTs kindly take attendance of students और जो एब्सेंट है प्लीज मेरे को इन्फॉर्म करें उनकी.
Shilpa ma'am, have you joined?
Yes, sorry, there was some connectivity issue. That Wi-Fi was caused.
Okay.
I'll
Okay,
get
no, ma'am,
connected.
no issue.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. No issue.
Yeah.
Please go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah. Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Okay, I will go to the full
Presentation mode.
yeah,
Yes,
full
ma'am.
presentation. Yeah. Yeah. So I was on the challenge study. Yeah. So
Yes,
challenge
ma'am.
study is nothing but you have to inoculate the spoilage organisms into the product to determine the spoilage in the worst case scenario. See, a product may not get spoiled, no, offhand. But if something happens during the productions or during the filling lines, then what may happen? So it is the worst case scenario. You have to do a challenge study. We'll be covering in the coming slides. Now, what are the factors that influence the shelf life? First is the product. How is your product? For example, a highly perishable food, which is a very short shelf life. For example, if you see your cakes, pastries, it is full of creams. So they have a very short shelf life, maybe 24 hours or max to max 48 hours. You will have to throw it away. Yeah, after that. Semi-perishable with a short to medium shelf life. Yeah, for example, if you can say the products that you get which have a shelf life of 2 months or 3 months, for example, some frozen patties or something like that. A highly stable, something you're getting in cans or a dehydrated food products. So you have a different shelf life for different products. It depends upon what ingredients is present in them. Products like having eggs, raw eggs are there, or for example your meat is there, they have a small shelf life. Yeah, but products which are having dried ingredients will have a long shelf life. It depends also on the compositional factors of the product. What is the water activity? Water activity is very important because you all must be knowing what is water activity. Yeah, it will tell you okay which spoilage organisms is going to affect the product. For example, it has more moisture, it will be more prone for contamination than a dried product which has low water activity, pH value. If you are on a more on an acidic side, the chances of getting spoiled by bacteria will be less. For example, beverages, carbonated beverages, but it will be spoiled more by the yeast. If you are more on the basic side, you will be the spoilage will be caused more by a bacteria. Total acidity, what is the acidity of the product? Natural flora and surviving microbiological count. For example, a meat or a dairy, for example, a dairy milk. The itself the product is rich in microbiological load. So it will be spoiled more fast. आप घर में भी दूध लेके आते हैं, although they say it's a pasteurized milk, but the moment we keep it open it, what do? We boil it. After boiling also, we keep it for some time outside and we keep it in the fridge because we know the product shelf life is very small. It will get spoiled very fast. Natural biochemistry of the product, the enzymes. For example, a meat or a boiled egg, it will get spoiled very fast because the enzymes which are present within it will make the product spoil fast. You can take an example of a ripened banana. Yeah, you can't keep it outside for a long time. It will either you have to consume it or it will ripe so fast and it will get spoiled. Preservatives in the food. We know that anything like salt or high sugar content will help the product to stay for a long period of time. Environmental factors like the temperature during storage and distribution. How is the temperature? For example, you have frozen patties which a McDonald's is serving. Okay, I can give you a very simple example. For example, there is a this food giants which has frozen patties, and the truck is carrying this frozen patties. Okay, there is a lot of traffic, and the truck switch offs the machinery. What happens? The frozen things which is supposed to be at -20, the driver switch it off because he say there is a lot of traffic. So let me switch off the truck. What will happen? The temperature will start rising. The temperature which is required for the patty is -20, but what it is getting now, it will go on -18, -10. Slowly it will come in the zero range. The same stock goes to one of these giants, food giants, and they say, "Yeah, this patty ka lot na jaldi kharab ho gaya." Now they are doing a root cause analysis. क्यों खराब हो गया? Patty was made in the same way. Patty was stored also in the same way. But nobody accounted that there was a truck driver who was standing in a big traffic. He switched off the truck. So the patty has entered into a phase where it was not in the same temperature where it needs to be stored. So that is why the patty जिसका shelf life होना चाहिए 4 months, it got spoiled in 2 months because there was a temperature abuse during that time. Yeah. So this was one example I gave you. Relative humidity during processing, storage, and distribution. What is the relative humidity during processing? If you go to the production plants, the temperature, the humidity are controlled because they directly affect your product. Suppose there are filling stations, there is a juice filling line, and the atmosphere, the environment where the juice filling is happening is not clean. It's dirty. What will happen? The aeroflora will go into the juice and it will lead to the spoilage of the juice in the market. Why? Because it is not controlled. During storage, during distribution, again, for example, juices needs to be kept at low temperature, maybe in the visi-coolers. Suppose some of the juices are kept in the visi-coolers in the malls. The shelf life which is given for the juices stored below, store in refrigerated conditions. The temperature of a refrigerator is 8 to 10 degrees. Yeah. So the visi-coolers, suppose the mall person switch off the electricity at night because he wants to store, take care of his bills, electricity and all that, power consumptions and all that. What will happen? It is written on the juice, you have to store in the refrigerated conditions. The temperature of the visi-cooler will start rising. It will go to again maybe 22, 23. Next morning, he again comes back, the mall person, he switch on the visi-cooler. What will happen? Again, the temperature will be cooler. But there was an abuse period of around 8 to 10 hours. The product will get spoiled. There will be litigations on the company which is manufacturing the juice. Company has made it properly. Where did the problem happen? During storage. Distribution, I told you the example of the truck. So it is not always the company who is responsible for it. There are many factors during the logistics till it reaches the final consumers. Product can get abused. Yeah. Atmospheric composition within the packaging like gases and vacuum. Many a times, especially the walnuts, you get it in vacuum packaging. Yeah. Why? Because walnuts, they become bitter. So that is why companies, they come up with this vacuum packaging, certain gases where they flush in nitrogen into the packaging. A very good example I can tell you is your Aquafina. Yeah, so these bottles are not Aquafina, which is one that that Coca-Cola product is water. Yeah, they flush their nitrogen into the water because what is done, they have taken that bottle, Kinley, sorry, it's not Aquafina, it's Kinley. So Kinley, what they do, they flush nitrogen into the water. So what happens? That water is very tight. When you open it, you will find a tick hours. Why? Because that nitrogen comes out. Nitrogen is an inert gas, but it keeps the bottle very stable. Yeah. So this is one example I was giving you. What is meant by an end of shelf life? How can you say कि बाबा product खराब हो गया है? Any change in the food product which renders is unacceptable to your consumer based on sensory attributes, odor. I told you in the beginning itself, consumer is not going to do microbiological or a chemical analysis. वो तो देख के बताएगा कि बाबा product बराबर नहीं है, yeah? Odor, the consumer will smell it, no, it's not okay. The taste, if he taste it, he said no, the taste has gone. Simple example is almond have become bitter at your house. You say there is something problem with the almonds, let me throw it away. Texture, products, food products loses the texture, visual appearance. आपने जैसा देखा था वैसा नहीं है. So you say it has spoiled or it has end of shelf life, let me throw it away. Yeah. What are the laboratory indicators of shelf life? Presence of spoilage organisms. Rancidity. Rancidity means bitterness. For example, oils becomes more rancid. Color, there is a loss of color. Moisture gain or moisture loss. You people must have seen very many a times we have vegetables in our fridge and we see sometimes it becomes very soggy. Yeah, we say yaar it's kharab ho gaya, let me throw it away. A common example is the coriander. Yeah, or sometimes they dry out. If you keep them for a long time in the refrigerator, they dry out and you say let me throw it away. Okay, so it's a moisture gain or a moisture loss. The texture is lost. Every food has a texture. आप जैसा सेव खाते हो या फिर you eat any patties, you chips, anything you eat has a texture. That texture is lost. A biscuit, for example, when you eat it, you feel the texture of that. Loss of nutrients, vitamins, viscosity, pH. So anything is the loss is the end of shelf life in the laboratory because laboratory can do all the tests. What are the chemical or physical factors which affect the shelf life? Chemical factors, rancidity of flavors are developed. Basically for oils, yeah, for example you eat chips or आपका जो oil रहता है जैसा भुजिया है सेव है, if you keep it for a long time you get that smell of oil. That is nothing but rancidity. There is an oxidation of oil. That is the best thing you can see in walnuts where they become bitter. Vitamin degradations. See, every products which are adding vitamins, they will have a label claim. Label पे लिखा होगा कितना vitamin A है, vitamin C है. So when you test in the laboratory, you'll find there is a decrease in the vitamin levels, color change. Many a times you see there is color has changed of the products. Sometimes they are bright red color, yellow color. For example, you see those cornflakes. Simple example. You'll see for a longer time the color gets lost. Physical texture, chocolates. Many a time the texture of the chocolates is lost. So these factors change over the time, the speed of which depends on the components. What are the components which are present in the food? That is the types of fats, the moisture, the ingredients, the pH. So very importantly, to first the organizations which are developing these food products need to know what the food components are and how these food components can affect the shelf life. For example, a company which is into a meat business has to be very careful because they know they have a very perishable item sitting with them. A company in a dry fruits may not be that much worried about because they know they have a dry product. Yeah. So components, moisture, ingredients, pH. Packaging. How are you packing your food? That plays a very important role. You see those chips packet. Simple example, or these cornflakes packets. If you see, they are available also on that panwala shop. They are most abused. Temperature, rainfall, सब गिरता है उसके ऊपर. But the product remains the same. It is never, spoiled. Same thing. What you can do, you remove that cornflakes. आप घर में एक plastic के bag में रख दे and see what happens. It will not retain its characters. Why? Because packaging plays a very important role for the shelf life. There is a separate group of no science which is called as packaging science, which will tell you what product or which packaging should be used. Storage conditions, temperature, humidity, exposure to light, all these factors are affects the shelf life of the product. Now, what are the shelf lives? Types of shelf lives. Real time, accelerated, and abuse studies. Real time, it means the product jaisa hai, you're going to keep it in the same way. For example, a juice bottle or a carbonated beverage, I take it room temperature पे रखा है. I will keep it at room temperature only. I'm not going to do anything with it. For example, a chips packet or a biscuit packet, I'll keep it at room temperature only and see what happens. Yeah. It requires a long time to observe the changes. For example, I have given a shelf life of 6 months. So for 6 months, I have to see how my product is behaving. Yeah. It gives no information on the effect of stress. I can give a simple example, our own country. If you go to North India, extreme cold, yeah, in hot summer seasons, your temperature may not go beyond 30 degrees or 25 or 30 if you go to Jammu and Kashmir. If you go towards south, in Chennai, extremely high humidity, okay, even the temperatures are very high. So look at the products, for example, a biscuit which goes to North India also, a biscuit which goes to South India also, same product. He's not changing the formulation, he's not changing the packaging, the companies. But what have they done? They have designed it in such a way by doing the shelf life studies कि products remains its characters. आप वो biscuit north में जाके खाएं, आप वो biscuit south में जाके खाएं, it is going to taste the same. Yeah. Used to study products with shorter shelf life. Real time are usually designed. For example, I want to design a shelf life of a, you can say a patty or a roll. You go to your Starbucks, you go. Starbucks give you all ready to eat foods. You just warm it up and eat it up. So those are short shelf life studies, which is for 2 days or 3 days. Yeah. So these are can be done for real time, not for a study of 6 months. I cannot wait for 6 months. As I said, company can launch 5 more products in those 6 months. For that, what do you do? They do an accelerated shelf life studies. What is an accelerated? The word itself tell you will to speed it up. What do you have to do? You will have to use usually the temperature and humidity conditions which are more abusive to the product. Yeah. By increasing the storage temperature, the trial period is shortened and rate of deterioration is increased. It is basically based on a chemistry what we'll be studying later on. Yeah. When what you do, you increase the temperature, you increase the humidity, your chemical changes rapidly increase. Basically, products, as I said, consumer is not worried about the microbiology part. Consumer is more worried about the texture, the odor. Yeah. So what do? In accelerated study, we look at the chemical factors which affect the product. Abuse study. Product cycle through environmental variable. These tests use cycle of variable that are equal or beyond and expected. This is a study with the most abusive condition study, which is very rarely used. Basically, people work with real-time and accelerated studies only. Now, there are organizations which design shelf life studies. You people, if you enter into food industries, you will be asked to design a shelf life study for your products. Yeah. How do you design it? What are the different points you need to consider? You'll have to sit with the product developer. The product development wants to say, I want to do a shelf life study. You'll have to sit with him and ask him, sir, tell me what is your product is. Is your product is going to be a frozen condition? It's going to be a chilled condition or it's going to be an ambient condition. You'll have to tell me ki, how much time you want to launch in your product in the market. He says, okay, I have 6 months. Okay, I'll do a real time. He said, don't, I don't have 6 months. I just have 2 months. I have to, the management has given me a time that product should be in the market by 3 months. So you say, okay, I will buy time. I need 2 months and I can tell you what happens to your product in 2 months. What are the parameters you're going to use? It's microbiological, very important, safety, chemical, sensory. Chemical because you would want to see that some chemical parameters are changing. Sensory, very important because it is the consumer, it's only the color, odor, taste and texture. Consumer will accept the product or reject the product. Duration, months, days, weeks. Commonly used storage conditions, frozen. For frozen, you have -18. Relative humidity is close to 100% in a frozen study. Frozen we usually do for meats, yeah, patties, ice creams, so frozen studies done. Now what is acceleration will be coming. Frozen accelerated is done at -10 to -8. What we do in accelerated study, we give a temperature 10 degrees abuse. My product, if I keep at -18, +10 is always -8 or -10. Yeah, so that becomes my frozen accelerated study. Chilled is 0 to 5 degree with a maximum of 8 degree. Relative humidity is high. Ambient is 30 degrees. Okay. For chilled, I don't have any accelerated study. Why? Because if I increase my temperature by 10 degree for chilled, 5 degrees plus 10 degree become 15 degrees. It will immediately come into the other zone of nearly ambient. Ambient can be different, can be 20 degrees to 30 degrees range. Yeah. Tropical accelerated is 40 degrees and 75% humidity. Another one is 38 and 90% humidity. You will have to decide how your product is going to be used and where. A simple example I can give you, if you want to keep a product in the kitchen, you know how this in those five-star hotels and everywhere the kitchen temperatures are, they are very high with a lot of humidity because all the burners are on over there. So you will have to ask, where are you going to use this product? A chips manufacturer will ask, I have to sell my product in maybe Chennai. You know the humidity is so high. Yeah, you know the temperature is so high. So you will have to decide what temperature and humidity combinations you're going to use for your product. And always remember, for all the studies, you have to have a control. Control is the optimum conditions where you want to keep the product. So if you look at this, you have a real time, you have an accelerated, real time frozen -18, ambient 30 degrees 65% humidity, chilled 0 to 5, accelerated for frozen, you give it -8 to -10. For 30, you have 38 degrees and 90% humidity. Now, sampling schedule. How do you do a sampling schedule? See, you have a 2-month study. It's not that you are going to do one study at 0 time and another study after 2 months. No. Because the product developer will come to you and ask, sir, what is the status of my product? You will say, sir, there is a sampling schedule. For example, if I design a study of 2 months, I will have to do a sampling study. Sampling means I am going to take out the product and do a microbiological, chemical, as well as a sensory testing in those different time points. Yeah, I will show you some examples how to do the study also. So here, a short shelf life study just for a week. You just take out the sample every day. Yeah, for example, cut vegetables. There is a company which, for example, I can give you Domino's is there which uses cut vegetables. Yeah, you can also have this Subway which uses cut vegetables. So there is one XYZ company who supplies cut vegetables to this Domino's or a Subway. Domino's or a Subway will say, sir, give me the shelf life of your product. What you need to do, this company will come to you, sir, please design a shelf life for me. What you have to do? You have to design a shelf life when you see what the product is, which is the organism which will spoil it the most, what chemical parameter I can use, and what different time points I'm going to use. If it is a small shelf life, 1 week, I will sampling points at all day. 0 day, 1 day, 2 day, till 7 days. So after still 7 day, I will come to know what is the day where the product is losing its characteristics. Maybe the color. For example, a tomato may become soggy or it may lose its color. You will say, yeah, I cannot give a shelf life of 7 days for tomatoes. Shelf life is just 4 days. Why? Based on my study. Medium shelf life studies up to 4 weeks. You will have to use time points of 0 days, 7 day, 14, 21, and 30 days. For example, cakes. The cakes of a Mongenie's cakes are there, or any other, so many cakes are there. They give you a shelf life of 30 days, you can keep it outside. How do they come up to this? Based on the shelf life studies. Long term, for example, a breakfast cereal, a Kellogg's, Chocos, you have all those. Yeah. So they have a long shelf life studies. What did they do? They do a 1 month study, 1 year study, where they remove it at 0 month, 2 month, 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, and 12 months. Yeah. The most important thing, size and packaging of sample should be the same and close to the real life condition. Okay. Suppose you are in one of the industries, the company will say, no, 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 we don't have that same packaging. Please do a shelf life study. I will give you the sample. First thing you have to reject it, sir. I am not going to do it. Why? Because products behave differently in different packaging. Yeah. A product will behave exactly different. These are the two sauces. Okay. One in glass bottle and one is in this pouch. So if they ask you for a pouch, you will have to tell them, sir, please provide me the pouch with the sample. You can't use a glass bottle and say the shelf life is 6 months or 8 months. Quite possible this pouch may give you a lower shelf life or may a higher shelf life. So the golden rule, you will always have to ask for the same packaging that is going to the market. Now we'll just talk about the accelerated shelf life studies. What is accelerated? It is ASLS. Food industries require a relatively short time to obtain the necessary information for determining the shelf life. As I said, companies don't have time to wait for 6 months or 1 year. So in short time, they want the result from you and they want to say, yeah, tell me, yeah, ki what is the shelf life of my product? There are different departments, microbiology or shelf life departments. So what is it? To any method capable of evaluating product stability based on data that is obtained in a significantly shorter period than the actual shelf life. What is the stimulation of factor over there? The assumption is that by storing food at higher temperature, any adverse effect on storage behavior and hence the shelf life may become apparent in short time. As I said, the moment you increase the temperature, chemical reactions happen very fast. Yeah. And these chemical reactions are responsible for changing the texture of the product, the odor development in the product. For example, oils. If oils, you put it at a higher temperature, immediately rancidity will happen. Yeah. Oxidation of the oils happen. For example, you have your save or a gatia or something like that, which is fried in oil. Keep it at a higher temperature. It will spoil more faster than in at ambient temperature. Why? Because the chemical reactions are faster. The shelf life under normal condition can be estimated by extrapolating using data obtained from accelerated determinations. Very important. The property that can be accelerated, microbial lag time and growth time only if temperature does not exceed normal spoilage organism growth temperature range. Please remember, you cannot accelerate the growth temperature of organisms. There are certain organisms which are mesophilic, thermophilic, and psychrophilic. Yeah. Organisms for microbiologically, we never use accelerated temperature. It's only for the chemical parameters or the physical parameters we use accelerated conditions. For microbiological studies, we keep one packet or one sample at the same temperature or the ambient temperature. Yeah. Only the enzymatic factors they increase faster, or the oxidation or the browning. Moisture loss or moisture gains, they happen very fast at accelerated temperature. What can be measured in accelerated shelf life? The rancidity, color, moisture loss or gain, the texture, spoilage organisms, loss of nutrients, sensory, very important. These all are measured by the chemical department or the microbiological department. But this is the individual person who has tasted the food when it was prepared the first day, and he is going to taste the food after all the acceleration studies. He may say, texture is lost. I'm getting that smell, odor. I will not taste it. Yeah. So such things may happen. How to begin with an accelerated study? Determine what reaction cause consumer unacceptability. Yeah. Any product, for example, a biscuit. When do you think so you'll not eat a biscuit? Because it has lost its crispiness. You're getting some smell or odor. You will not eat it. For me, that is not acceptable. Decide on test that should be performed on product during the study. Yeah, you have to decide what test you're going to perform. Critical limits of end of shelf life. Every company knows this is the end of my shelf life. So how are you going to decide the critical limits? What factor? Suppose you are fortifying it with nutrients, vitamins. You say my vitamin loss is there. Everything is okay, but for me, vitamin loss is gone. Color is gone. Flavor is gone. So this is my end of shelf life. Select the packaging to be used. One is going to use the same packaging that is going to the market. It should not happen. नहीं नहीं we are अभी हमारे पास packaging available नहीं है. जो available है उसमें हम लोग shelf life करते हैं and हम लोग market में दूसरा देंगे. No, because packaging to packaging shelf life studies gives a different result. Yeah, select the accelerating conditions. What are you going to use? Yeah, that is why I have told you have to ask where are you going to use this product. Is this product going to be lying outside in the sun, exposed to sun, or it is going to be in the fridge? Is it going to be in the kitchen in a 5-star hotel, or it is going to be in the kitchen where there is more humidity in common houses? So all these questions needs to be answered before developing a accelerated shelf life study. Experimental conditions to be selected for the study. Temperature. Higher temperature often accelerate reactions, may work for chemical reaction, but not for microbiology. Okay, because microbiology, that is not the limit where it can grow. These are not the temperature limits. Yeah. For example, acceleration, if I do at a very high temperature, for example, 40 degrees, no, my organism may not grow, which is growing at 25. For that, I need to understand one packet needs to be kept at normal temperature. Relative humidity, very important. Humidity spoils the products like anything. Products become soggy, products lose their texture. Yeah. So where are you going to keep it? So you have to keep it in sealed humidity chambers and incubators. Worst case scenarios, 75 to 90% humidity. 90% humidity is like more like a rainfall only. Yeah. Now there is this rule of 10 in accelerated shelf life studies. What is this rule of 10? Is a factor by which rate of spoilage increases when the temperature is raised by 10 degrees. And it's a proven factor. It's a thing which is there in the food industry. Whenever you increase the temperature by 10 degrees, the rate of spoilage increases. Yeah. It is called as the Q10 factor. Q10 allows for the prediction of product shelf life under real condition based on the result testing conducted at high temperature. There is no unit for a Q10 factor. Yeah. Most industries use Q10 of 2. What does it mean? If my product is shelf life of 4 months, I can complete my study in 2 months. That is my Q10 of 2. If my Q10 is 3, if I have a product which is of 12 months, I can complete the study in 4 months. Why? Because 4 multiplied by 3 becomes 12. Yeah. So that is called as a Q10 factor. Q10 is used basically of 3 is used for basically for frozen. You can also you give a Q10 of 4, but one needs to know the product very well. If you don't know the product, please use a Q10 of 2. If people come to you, I have a shelf life of 3 months, tell them, sir, I have to do a study of 6 months. I have to do a study of 3 months, taking a Q10 of 2. What is the formula? Shelf life of temperature T divided by shelf life of T plus 10 degrees Celsius. Now I'll give you an example, case studies. Hope I'm clear till here for accelerated shelf life studies. Hello, Neha? Is it clear till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Now we'll
Yes,
go for
ma'am.
the
Yes,
case
ma'am.
studies. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Please.
Now one company comes to you to they want to do an accelerated shelf life of frozen chicken meatballs for a shelf life of 9 months. Yeah. There are many companies which are into this meatball preparations. They will come to you, sir, we want to do this. How do you decide it? Parameters microbiologically as per FSSI. If it is a company which is a US, it wants to export it, you will have to use the regulations of those export country. Suppose for US, you have to use US FDA standards, European standards. So accordingly, for India, it is US FSSI. Organoleptic color, pre and post cooking, odor, taste and texture post cooking. Please, you are not going to consume anything which is raw. Yeah. If you are not going to, if they say we don't want to cook it, sir, you are not going to taste it anytime. That taste parameter will not be there in your study. What are the time points? At least 5 time points. Remember, to get a statistical data, you need at least 5 time points. Yeah, to tell you ki how is the data. Test temperature. See, it is a frozen. So what is the frozen condition? Frozen is -18. I want to do an accelerated shelf life study. So what temperature I will use? -18 plus 10. So this becomes my -8 to 10. -10 becomes my study temperature. In my study, I am also going to use a control temperature. So control is going to be a -18 temperature. Taking all these parameters, I am going to design a study. How the study will look like? Here, this is the study. Yeah. Accelerated shelf life study of chicken meatballs at -8 to -10 degree for 3 months. Why 3 months? How much is the expected shelf life? 9 months. I have taken, as I said, for frozen, you can take a Q10 of 3. 3 threes are 9. So what I have done, I can design a study of 3 months. Now there are different time points which I am going to select. 0 day, when I receive my product, 15 days, 1.5 months, 2.5 months, and 3 months. This will be the last time point. What test I am going to do? Microbiological. As per FSSI, aerobic plate count, yeast and mold count, pathogens always on the 0 day as well as the last day. So what are the pathogens which are used for meat? E. coli, S. aureus, Salmonella, Listeria, Campylobacter, and so on. Organoleptic evaluation, color, odor, taste, texture, overall acceptance. Taste only when I'm going to do when it is cooked. Otherwise, I will remove the taste parameter. On 0 day, when I receive the sample from the food company, I'm going to do all the parameters. I need not do the pathogens at all different time points. Yeah. I will do all my microbiological test on the 15 day. I will remove the samples from the freezer, do a microbiological as well as an organoleptic test. Here I'm not doing any chemical test because chemical nothing is going to get affected. Please remember, chemical reactions, enzymatic reaction are stopped at frozen temperatures. So you can see I have not taken any chemical reaction out here. Second example, I'll show you how it works. Yeah. Post 1.5 months, first 2.5 and last time point. So when you collate the data for all of them, you will say, yes, is this product acceptable or not acceptable? For example, if everything goes fine till 3 months, you can very well give a shelf life of 3 months to the meatballs. But quite possible after post 2.5 months, you find that the color is become little dull and there is ice crystals formations on the meatballs. What you will do immediately, you will tell your developer, the food this R&D person, you will say, sir, there is a ice crystal formations on your meatballs when I keep it at -8. I'm not going to use it. So what is the shelf life you have given? Till 2.5 months. Because till 1.5 month everything was fine. 2.5 months, you're getting ice crystals, so the shelf life will be 1.5 months, not 2.5 months even. Yeah. So the next study. This is a case study too. You get a query if you're working in one of the cereal companies and you say the product development will come to you ki I want to do a shelf life study of 6 months. How do you design it? Yeah. I'm not going to wait for 6 months. Company says no, I want to launch the product. What do? You select the parameters, microbiological, chemical, organoleptic, at least 5 time points. What am I doing? Acute and factor of 2. So 6 month study I will be doing in 3 months. Temperature is 38 degree, 90% humidity. Why? Because he will say, sir, this product will be also lying outside a pan wala dukan or a grocer shop. Most abusive conditions. Suppose it is going to Chennai, it is going to Kanyakumari. Most abusive conditions. What is my control? Control is always minus 18 out here. Yeah. Frozen. This is the study design. So how do I design? This design is for 90 days or 3 months. Physicochemical. Now see here I am taking the chemical factors. Why? Because at these temperatures, chemistry play a very important role in spoiling the product. What I have taken? Moisture, alcoholic acidity, acid soluble ash, vitamin C, insect infestations. Vitamin C because the product is, the company will say, I have put vitamin C into the product, sprayed vitamin C, fortified the product with vitamin C. Microbiological test as per FSSI. Color, odor, taste, texture. How am I going to do? Again, I have divided it into different time points. The minimum is 5 time points, maximum you can decide 7, 8 accordingly. Yeah. 0 day, all the studies. Post 30 days, 15 days, I don't want to do the study. 45 days also, I don't want to do the study. I just want to do a study on 30, 60, 75, 90. But if you want, you can also do studies on 15, 45. This is just a chart to tell you how you can design your study. Many a times companies, what they do, product are not spoiled in the early shelf life. Product are spoiled in the late shelf life. So if you see 460, 75, 90, all the time points are covered for sensory. Spoilages happen later on. So with experience, people say, okay, I want to do all the sensory studies in the late shelf life. So that is why these time points are covered in this. Yeah. Organisms for 0 day, everything is covered. Here, pathogens not needed, not required, but aerobic plate count, yeast and mold and coliform is required in the last time point. For me, what is important? For me, it is very important what is happening to the product chemically. That is why chemical moisture. Nobody is going to eat cornflakes which has become soggy. Yeah. So moisture is taken care at all time point. Vitamin C also, because what is the level of vitamin C in my product? Is it getting lost? So here also. So these are different ways of designing the studies. People design it this way. One, there are, you can see different ways actually. These are some examples which I have quoted out here. Another is a short shelf life. There is one company which comes to you, I want to sell a chicken wrap. Expected shelf life 72 hours. Very small time. Yeah. What do you need to do? Microbiological, organoleptic, at least 5 time points. He says, where do you want to, you'll ask him, where do you want to keep it? He'll say, I want to keep it at chilled condition. Chilled condition, there is no accelerated. So you will have to keep it the same temperature. What do? I design a study which is a real time study. There is no accelerated study. This is a real time shelf life study. What is important over here? Chemical factors, nothing is going to affect in this chicken wrap. Why? Because it is going to be a chilled conditions. What is going to affect? Microbiology. Why? Because this has chicken and the wrap may get spoiled. People may have indigestion problems. People may have food poisoning. So what is more stringent for me? The microbiology part. Yeah. So what do? I do all the tests as per the FSSI for microbiology. and organoleptic, color, odor, taste, texture. If my study fails in 24 hours, post, for example, in 48 hours, I get a smell. Microbiologically, is odor is microbiology, it is okay, but I get a smell. My study stops there. I will give a shelf life of just 24 hours to the person. So these are how the shelf life studies are designed. Sensory studies, very important. See, sensory is not something that you pick up somebody and say, you tell me what it is. No, it has to be, the person has to be calibrated. For example, your instruments are calibrated, people tongues are calibrated to tell you ki, yes, this is it. Yeah. So internal sensory testing, you have at least 3 of each participant of tasting people without a project background. Focus should be descriptive, not judgmental. It's not just you are to just having the food. You will have to tell it correctly. Yes, there is a problem, or something is missing, or there is some off odor, there is some off note, off taste. Proper documentation of descriptive differences is necessary. Some people may like it, some people may not like it, but what is that liking or not liking? You have to describe. Representative control needs to be used as reference. For example, there is a product which is coming to a market which is having, a cinnamon flavor, for example, cake. A sensory person might not have tasted a cinnamon flavor, so he will always say, "Sir, give me a reference standard, and I will tell you whether it tastes like this." Yeah. So always a reference should be there, because all this product development people are developing new products. Quite possible you might not have tasted it before. For that, a reference is needed. Project leaders organize the taste session, sample storage, right participant at the session. If you look in the picture, you have the sensory tables. People do a thorough sensory without a biasness. It's not like I like it, so you should also like it. No, if you don't like it, please tell me why you have not liked it. Yeah, you need to put a comment over there. It was not pleasant. The taste has changed. The odor has changed. Yeah. How are the sensory scores sheets? Like color, taste, smell. You can design your own sensory shade. For example, you hate, you don't like, you don't mind, like, love. Some other sheets like I like it very much, slightly, dislike, and every company has its own score sheets. So what do we conclude out of this? Shelf life is very, very important for food products. Every company which is in this food business has to have an internal shelf life, as well as they also do it from some NABL accredited laboratories. But internal shelf lives continuously go on. Even if you change the ingredient in the product, you have to do a shelf life. It must accommodate safety, quality, organoleptic, and appearance requirement to assure consumer acceptance. Yeah, safety is very important, the utmost priority, quality, organoleptic, and appearance requirement to assure. You must be seeing most of the products in the market are quite appealing to the eyes. Yeah. See, people, when you go to any of the hotels or all those roadside shops, you see the color. For example, this Chinese bhel and all what you get, the color is very appealing because it's human. We see and then we eat. We smell and then we eat. If we don't like the smell, we'll never eat it. So it is our human psychology that what we see, what we smell, yeah, is what we eat. That's why it's said no, something which is quite nutritious, we never eat it. Why? Because we don't like the taste. Our grandmas and say, please have this and that, and we said no, it's quite bitter, it's not good in taste, although it may be very nutritious. Yeah. So determine the shelf life. Accelerated study is a very another options. Shelf life determination is valid only for exact product composition, packaging, and processing condition combinations. If you are changing the product composition, the shelf life study is not valid. If you are changing the packaging, shelf life study is not valid. If you're changing the processing condition combinations, it's not valid. You'll have to do a fresh shelf life study. Yeah. I'll be just giving you just glance of what are the careers in life sciences. What Neha told me, For you people, you're being in your masters and all, what can be the careers? Like I told you, this shelf life studies. So if you enter a food industry, you can design shelf life studies like this, because many food industries require people to design such studies. So if you could for life sciences, you can go in academics, you can go into production manufacturing. Yeah, because in production lines you require, because life science is a beautiful science. Actually, you are into biology or into chemistry, so you can go into production facilities. If you are interested in documentation parts, you can go in quality assurance. If you are into analysis and testing, you can go to food testing laboratories or pharma testing laboratories. If you're again into program management, because see, you know the overall gist of all the aspects, you can go into this program management or a project management. If you're interested, boys are there, they can go into marketing, even a medical writing, because you know the gist of all this Tata TCS and all that, they ask for this medical writers. Regulatory affairs. Regulatory affairs is a very good field actually. It's a growing field and it will not going to die. All the regulations, different countries' regulations, you can go end up into regulatory affairs, clinical research, business development, because every companies know people who know the subject to drive the business. Because that is why how you can speak to the clients. If you're good in your biological sciences, you can be good into a business developments. So these are the areas where you people can venture into. If you look at the big pharma productions in India, which you can enter into, there are Alembic, Inta, Sanofi, Bayer, you have Baxter, Lupin, FDC, Wyeth, Sandoz, GSK, Novartis, Pfizer, Sun Pharma, Piramal Healthcare, AstraZeneca, Cipla. So these are the big pharma giants which still exist. They may not be into basic R&D, but they are into this business development, project management, regulatory affairs, which you people can really venture into. Yeah. What are the FMCGs where you can target all? You have your chocolates like Hershey's, you have your Kraft Heinz, your Burger King, you have Unilevers, your Parle Agro, you have Godrej, Kerry, Nestle's, Marico, because these are the companies which are into food business, they are into cosmetic business. Yeah. ITC, Colgate Palmolive, then Rich, Gravis. There are so many because many of them are into export of products which you don't see in India, but there are a lot of value outside, or they provide to this company. For example, Rich Gravis, it gives you your Robbins, your ice creams, even the creams that you see on the cakes is manufactured by Rich Gravis. Yeah. ITC is into cosmetics, ICT is into food industries, your pasta and all that. So here I close my talk. Any questions?
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such an enlightening, insightful, and knowledgeable session. I hope if anybody is having any query, they can post it in the chat box. And then if they don't have any query, they can ask it later also. I'm very much sure after hearing to your excellent narration towards the various aspects of shelf life evaluation of food products, types, designing of shelf life studies, case studies with such an simplified examples was exemplary. I must say it was a thought-provoking session, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing details about career options in life science as well as the big recruiting giants for our students also. I'm very much sure that all the students have enjoyed this session and our efforts to impart continuous upgradation in learning the existing and new theories is being achieved through this session. I express my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Shilpa ma'am for taking out time from your extremely busy schedule. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.
I
Thank you,
also
Neha. Yeah.
thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for the
I
university for inviting me. Yeah, because the main
thank
thing is that children, students are always in lost. Ki where should I go? Actually, there are
yes,
many
ma'am.
career options. Once they venture into, they will start loving it. Like this was one of the thing I should thought of telling them. The food industry is now quite growing, so that let them
Right,
enter into the food industries. Yeah.
right, ma'am. With this vision, we have invited you that you please empower our students with your knowledge and all the things that are happening in the food industry. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, ma'am.
Yeah.
I
Thank you.
also thank you, ma'am. I also wish to express my gratitude to our principal, Dr. Gaurav Sharma, sir, for providing encouragement and support. for organizing this Industrial Connect program. Finally, as no program can become successful with a single person, I extend my big thanks to School of Applied Sciences for their support, and thank you for making this program a success. Thank you everyone for joining, and thank you so much Shilpa ma'am once again for taking out time and accepting our invitation, for enlightening us with this. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And
Yeah.
now I
Oh,
shall close this session.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, okay, I am
Okay.
closing this session. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Have a nice day.
Bye bye.
Bye bye, ma'am.